Welcome. I'm your host, Maya Urban, the Urban Healer. I'm a life coach, Reiki master, Akashic record reader, and registered nurse. Hello, and welcome to the Discover Your Joy podcast. My name is Tamara Urban, and I will be your host. And today I have a very special guest. I'm so freaking excited. I'm going to be interviewing Molly, and Molly is a trained sex therapist working as a sexuality educator and embodiment coach. That was a mouthful because she does a lot of things. And I also, but don't. We're just gonna go right there. This is the type of episode this is gonna be. So if you are shy, please stay.
Yes, please stay and hang out with us.
Amazing. So first things first, tell us about what you do, how you got into this career path. Share your story. We're all ears.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so interesting because I was actually just speaking last night about the power of pivoting, like just in life in general and in our job. And so I don't really know how I came to be. I started working as an event planner right after graduation from college and got to a point in my life where I was like, is this really where I see myself in 10 years? Is this really what I want to be doing? And I was feeling incredibly unfulfilled. Like it just wasn't doing it for me anymore. I was making a great check. It was lovely. I loved my work, but there was no passion in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back to school and got my master's in clinical mental health counseling and started out my career as an adolescent therapist. I believe that growing up is really fucking hard
Yeah.
and no one prepares you. So
No.
my heart was just right in with adolescence. So my first day on the job, I'm holding a like healthy relationships group at a facility. And afterwards, I ended up having a 10-year-old girl come up to me and disclose that she was being pimped out by her dad on the weekends.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, here I am. And all of a sudden, I just started finding that this is what people were coming to me and talking to me about was deep fucking pain and a lot of sexual trauma.
Yeah.
As my kids, I'm a step parent to three beautiful kids. When they kind of all aged into adolescence, it became really overwhelming coming home to them as well as working with them. And so I needed to diversify. And I started working with young adults and women and couples. And I really started recognizing that they were essentially my adolescents. They didn't know anything about anything except they're in a grown up body. And that was when I recognized this is my calling. I needed to work in sex therapy and in sexual health. And throughout that process, I recognized and had my own recognitions of some sexual trauma in my life as a child. And when I started my healing journey, it just felt like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm meant to be because I want to be the person that my younger self needed.
Mm.
And she needed someone like me. And
Yeah.
so that's why I work in sexual health. And I have no idea what that means for me in 5 years or 10 years, but I'm excited and I know it's going to be fucking powerful.
I love that. Oh, I love that for you. It's just so
Yeah.
important for women to be able to step into their sexuality and sensuality. And that's something that like we're not taught. And it's like actually like ridiculous that as a registered nurse with 2 science degrees, have I ever been really taught like anything to do with female reproduction? God forbid pleasure. Like God,
Oh,
no.
no.
Like, oh my God. And this is actually TMI, where this entire thing is going to be TMI. I became the person who was the best at putting in a catheter for a woman on my trauma floor. And I literally, like, the number of vaginas I have touched is like in the thousands. And it's
Yes.
hilarious. And literally, like, my coworkers would be like, I don't know where to put it. And I was like, what do you not see? There's a hole. You put it in. And I was like, what are you hitting? I'm like,
Because we're never taught that. I mean,
what?
really think back about how you learned about sex education.
Oh, yeah.
It was probably totally weird and backwards, perhaps from your gym teacher. Oh my goodness, or perhaps purity culture. That was a real thing too.
Yeah.
No one talks about this.
No.
And there's a reason why. As someone who lived most of my adult life horribly disconnected from my body,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I was a brain person because that was my safe space. I was
Yeah.
so good at separating. But the moment I landed in fair play, scary experience, like you're learning to reconnect with yourself.
Yeah.
But once you connect to your pleasure is our birthright. Like,
Yes.
how can you not
Yeah.
want to be connected to that? And when you
Yeah.
tap into that, it's like literally everything in your life shifts. I
Yeah.
equate it to that movie like Pleasantville or whatever, where everything's gray scale and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden the colors start popping up.
Ooh.
That's what it's like when you start
Yeah.
tapping into your pleasure.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, holy shit, that wall is so beautiful. Oh man, I love this
Right.
texture. I love the smell. It just
Yes.
opens up everything to you.
Oh my God, absolutely. Like the number of women who are like, I'm completely numb, or they're like, I don't really have an orgasm. Like, I don't know, it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
It's not a big deal. What? What's wrong with you?
I
What is
know.
this, please? No, 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 no. And I think it's so sad that like women have just kind of accepted, oh yeah, sex is mediocre. I don't really like it. Oh, it's okay if it hurts. And it's like, it's not
Oh
for
my gosh.
me.
Sex is not supposed to hurt. Can you please hear that? If you are engaging in an activity that is hurting you, please
Yes.
stop immediately. There is a
Yes.
reason why.
Yeah.
Nothing pleasurable should be filled
Yeah.
with pain unless it's consent and you are interested in that kind of pain.
Yeah.
But no, nothing should be hurting.
Yeah.
And that's an opportunity to lean into some lubricant. Lube should be your best friend.
Yes.
I mean, gosh, I wish people could normalize that. Like, there is no shame. Quit spitting and grab some lube. Like, please.
Dead. True. Like, please
Yes,
invest in the loop.
please. And it should be your best friend and it should live next to your bed or wherever you partake in these
Not
activities.
naturally. I mean, one in every room who should be really healthy and open to this.
Why not? Why not?
Amazing. So, what is your theory on to why women are so scared to feel pleasure? Because it's like it's this almost like the energy of receiving, being in your feminine, being in like a surrender state. Like, why do you think women struggle with that?
Oh, so many things. So many things. Well, I believe that the first big reason is religion. And bear with me while I talk about this, because I know plenty of sex therapists who are very active in their religious spaces and they are pro pleasure. And I think that's a beautiful space for that. But for many of us who grew up with religion and organized religion, that was not our experience. We
Mhm.
were taught it's impure, it's gross. We shouldn't be connected to that. It is really about women being second and the man first.
Mhm.
We learn all kinds of things culturally through that space. And as well as just like, I mean, think about it. I grew up really in like the 90s and the early aughts, and that was all bro culture.
Oh yeah.
And just, I mean, even think about the movies
Oh
from the 90s,
yeah.
right? Like
Mhm.
American Pie. Let's just even reflect on
Oh
that. I look back and I fucking cringe,
oh
right? Like
yeah.
on one
Mhm.
hand, I'm like, this is so liberating, but is it? Is
Oh
it? I mean, were they actually talking about consent? Are they actually talking about, women's pleasure and that it's not just about his pleasure?
yeah.
And so I think so much is just how we are brought up in this space and the images that we receive from media and the movies, and it's uncomfortable. And here's the next thing: women don't fucking talk about it.
No.
And if you do start talking about it, all of a sudden you're deemed, ooh, a little inappropriate. Or
Mm.
maybe she's skanky. She
Not with
wants
my
talking
friends.
about sex.
Get new
Right?
friends, get new friends, upgrade
Yes,
friends.
1000%. But women can be so judgy
Yeah.
and so critical, even within this space and even within this topic.
Mm. Hmm.
So I think it's just beautiful to just start talking about sex and pleasure
Hmm.
and really confronting our own shame about where that comes from because it's different for all of us.
Absolutely. Literally the next thing I was gonna ask is like, how do you work through the shame of it though? Because like I definitely was raised like Catholic schoolgirl,
Mhm.
definitely had the shame layered on with my Eastern European family.
Yes.
And then my grandma's
Yes.
like, I just accept you that you're too frisky. I'm like, oh, glad I'm perfect.
But
Yes.
it's even so crazy because looking at the dawn of time,
Yeah.
sexual women have always been around
Yeah.
and oftentimes demonized because they're seen as really powerful.
And I was just gonna say because they're powerful and they're having a blast. Get
Hmm.
it?
Well, yeah. And who doesn't like that?
Well, men,
patriarchy.
it's terrifying. You want a woman who doesn't know how to connect to that energy for sure. So, how do you process the shame? How do you even, I mean, that's a
Yeah,
huge topic, but like, how do
totally.
you even begin? Because if there's somebody who's coming to you being like, well, I want to lean into it, but how do I start? Slash, I do have this shame of, you know,
Yeah,
getting
the
into everything.
totally. The first step, honestly, awareness and so much unlearning.
Hmm.
Like I always tell my clients, I'm so proud of you for showing up in this space because it's really vulnerable work and
Hmm.
it's really hard work at first. And we're really going to take some time and sit with where does that shame come from? It probably came from a moment growing up or some kind of experience. And we need to sit with that and not only from like a cognitive level understand what that's about, but I mean, shame is trauma too. And trauma is not what happened to you.
Hmm.
Trauma is what happened in the body. It was too fast, it was too soon, whatever that is.
Hmm.
And really, when we talk about trauma, it's about our bodies are not able to complete the cycle.
Hmm.
It's so curious because animals in the wild actually don't suffer from PTSD.
Hmm.
And this is something that has been wildly studied.
Yeah.
Um, and I was just learning, refreshing myself on this over the weekend at a somatics course. And it's really crazy. Like you watch these films of these animals and they go limp and they're fighting, and all of a sudden they look completely dead and give them 15 minutes and they start reconnecting to their breath. And all of a sudden they're up and they're totally fine.
Yeah.
But as humans, we deny ourselves that experience. And when trauma happens to us, we get stuck. And that's kind of like the same with the shame piece. We can do all this cognitive work, but at some point, you're going to have to sit and connect to your body and feel where that is.
Yeah.
And our body is so wise. She's never going to lie to you.
No.
She's always going to lead you where you need to be. And it's learning how to like trust in that and see and explore what comes up for you.
Absolutely. And I find like with my clients, like sometimes they don't even share that they have sexual trauma because they almost like
It's
downplay it.
embarrassing.
Yeah. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that thing that happened, sure, whatever. But then it's like, oh, I don't understand. Like I feel numb. I can't receive like anything. And it's like even receiving a compliment or like receiving
Mhm.
a promotion and like just feeling stuck and like completely disconnected. But then I find with my clients, often it's not even the forgiveness piece to the other person, it's they're mad at themselves.
Oh
So
my
it's
goodness.
like, why were you there? Why didn't you say something? And
Yes.
you freeze. It's your body. Like, of course, you froze, your nervous system shut down. And it's like,
Mhm.
why didn't I like do something differently? Why did I go out that night? And then they get fixated on that. And it almost builds like a distrust to themselves. And then what they do is just not feel their body. And then they're just numb.
Yeah. And I think that there's a larger reason for that. Um, Women typically are not believed, right?
Yeah.
And it can be
Yeah.
really hard to show up in that space. And even if you think about kind of like the language of things and how we talk about it, there's so many of us even reflecting on experiences from college where it's like, well, it must not have been that big of a deal, right?
Yeah.
Like it just happened. I was at a
Yeah.
frat party. I was at the da 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 da. I was at the
I
bar.
drank too much. It's my
Yeah.
fault. I let him on. No. Yeah.
No, take some personal responsibility and agency.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but having, I mean, if you are going to go into this work and you are wanting to connect to your sexuality, you are going to learn to have so much self-love. And
Yeah.
part of that is having grace and compassion for yourself,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
remember, at the end of the day, man, we're all just human having a
Yeah.
human experience.
Which is hard and messy and like there is no manual.
No, it's super fucking hard and messy. And so have yourself some grace, right?
Yep.
And you're going to have good days and bad days, but
Yep.
have some compassion for yourself. And honestly, I know in the terms of my own self-healing journey, learning to have that compassion and forgiveness for myself was really hard. It was
Yeah.
not something that came natural.
Yeah.
And I really had to sit in that and really figure out how to turn that perspective the other way.
Absolutely. So then how do you begin to embody this like sexual side of you and like
Hmm.
actually like step into that?
Yeah. So, so many things, but I really want to talk about is having a sacred self-pleasuring practice because
Amen.
I think that is such a game changer for so many reasons.
Yeah.
First and foremost, as women, let's be real, we're super performative. And we've been taught to be that way, right? We've been
Great
taught,
choice of words.
yeah, we've been taught through movies, through
Yeah.
television, through
Yeah.
lyrics, through pornography. Like,
Yeah.
this is what women look like while they're having sex, and this
Yeah.
is what we do.
Yeah.
Or you're like checking in on your boo and looking at what kind of shit they're looking at, and you're like, oh, this is
That's
how
what I
he
need to
wants
do.
me to be.
Yeah.
That's what they like.
Mhm.
And that's messed up, man.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that's crazy.
I'm not a porn
So
star and I can't do those things.
no, and my gosh, that's like a whole other topic that we can
I
dive
know.
into. But coming back to the sacred self pleasure, it's an opportunity to get out of that space, to create a totally safe space for yourself where you, it's not based on performance, it's not based on judgment or anybody else's thoughts, feelings, opinions, comments, concerns, whatever.
Yeah.
It is about slowing down and getting back in touch with you.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you that a self pleasuring practice does not have to mean genital touch. It
Mhm.
can just mean getting used to my touch.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to be completely safe
Yeah.
and touching my chest? What
Mhm.
do my fingertips feel like? Is this pleasurable?
Yeah.
Right? Like, do I feel safety here?
Mm.
And that can expand, right? And then you lower it, and maybe you start doing a breast massage, or maybe you start touching your thighs. Maybe it starts off simply by putting on body lotion and just being really in the moment without judgment and owning your curiosity and just be like, what does it feel to cover
Mhm.
myself in this oil?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and sit into that. And I would imagine it's probably a very new experience.
Yeah.
Then you can even continue to do that with sexual touch and bringing it to your genitals, whether that's through your own hands or through a toy, and
Mhm.
just being open to what the experience is.
Mhm.
So many people, I think, equate orgasm with pleasure or orgasming with, the sexual experience, but
Mhm.
it's really about pleasure. And orgasm is just super, super, super intense pleasure.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to think about it as being, I have to get to this space. Sometimes in my self pleasure practice, I don't even achieve orgasm. It's just being in my own energy and being like, wow, this just feels really good. And this is all I need right now.
Absolutely. And it's like, if you don't know what you like, how are you going to
Mhm.
tell a partner? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I feel like as women, we've almost been like, you just get what you get. And like, there you go. And this is as good as it gets. And it's like, no, 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 no. But it's like, how do you even give feedback to a partner if you don't know how you like it? Because you
exactly.
actually explored yourself. And like, same with like the body lotion bit. Like,
Mm.
how many women actually put on body lotion, not like slap, 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 done, you
Yes.
know? Like we've all
Yeah,
done that. You're like, that's quick,
a
quick,
thousand percent.
yeah. But it's like, these are my hands. This is my arm. Like, okay, across my chest. Like, and
Mhm.
then not like, ugh, I don't like that this looks like this. Ugh, I wish
Oh
this
my
was
goodness.
different.
It's
But
an
like, love
opportunity.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an opportunity when that critical voice shows up and you're
Yeah.
super judgmental. And trust me, we all have it.
Well,
I
of
can look at
course.
myself in the mirror and point out a million things.
Yeah.
But when that voice turns on, it's like, oh no, you know what? I love this stomach and I love these stretch marks because they provided me XYZ. I
Yeah.
love my arms because they allow me to pick things up and to love my dog and to love my children. Like, it's an opportunity at every like point to choose love, to choose happiness, to choose something different, a different experience than what you're currently in.
Absolutely. And it's like the pleasure starts there. I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of people just kind of like jump to like intercourse and it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, no, no, no.
And it's not even just like foreplay. Like, no, 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 no. Like backtrack. Not even like just like kissing, but like touching, like using your
Mhm.
senses. We as humans are so disconnected. We live in our mind. We are
Yep.
our sympathetic state. We're go, go, go. But it's like,
Yes.
what do the bed sheets feel like on your hands? Like literally when I buy
Mhm.
bed sheets, I'm like opening things up and I'm like, my hands are like, do I want
Heck
to
yes.
like be rubbing and touching this? Like, is this feel nope, nope. Like even towels. And I was like, I need to have an experience. Towels. It can look
Absolutely.
nice.
Yeah. And I love that you're pointing this out because oftentimes when I'm working with clients who are like, I'm just cannot access pleasure. Like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. It is so scary.
Mhm.
And I'm like, hey, great, cool. Let's not even talk about sexual pleasure because we experience pleasure in every moment of our life. There are
Yeah.
so many different ways to
Yeah.
start cultivating and opening our mind and opening up those connections to receive pleasure. It is the joy of taking that first sip of coffee in the morning,
Gonna say, smell the coffee. Like, don't just
right?
mouth it. Like,
Oh,
mm,
be in that delicious moment.
mhm,
It's the first time, like, I love the water. So my shower space is like,
mhm.
oh,
Yeah.
feel that on my head.
Yeah.
And like, can I track an individual water bead from my forehead all the way down
Oh,
to
I
my
am
toes?
doing this. I cannot wait to shower. Excuse me as
You
I jump
know,
in the shower right now.
heck yes. It's just so powerful and it's so easy to connect to that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like once we start switching our mind to recognizing that pleasure is actually available to us in any given moment,
Yeah.
it's actually easier to start accessing that sexual pleasure.
Absolutely. And it's like a safer space to start small, but it's
Yes.
also, again, like being in a state of receiving, being in your feminine.
Hmm.
Like, we just feel so structured and like goal oriented of just like,
Hmm.
okay, I gotta have sex now because this is when I have time with my partner. And like, oh, the kids are asleep. And they're like, okay, let's go. And it's like, oh, Jesus. But
Uh-huh. I Yeah, like
no.
how many times, oh my gosh, I hear this all the time and it sometimes happens with my partner too. So I want to normalize this.
Yeah.
But you're laying in bed and your partner starts stroking or touching a part of you, and
Mhm.
you're like, oh, we're doing that. Like that's what you want?
Did the
Like all of
tap
a
tap.
sudden this really, yeah, like this really nice thing that I thought you were just giving me this
Yeah.
gentle back massage turned into whack whack. Uh, I just want to honor this moment and say, ladies, it's okay to honor your no,
Yeah.
right? In fact, it's really healthy to honor our bodily no. If
Yeah.
that's going on and it's late night and you're like, I just want to fucking sleep,
Yeah.
tell your boo that.
Yeah.
And part of the relationship piece of that is your partner is wanting connection. You are absolutely allowed to say no,
Mhm.
but at some point, complete the cycle. And all I mean by that is connect with them. And it doesn't have to mean just because they want to have intercourse means you have to give them intercourse within the next 12 hours.
Yeah.
It just means you want to connect and be like, hey, boo, I'll give you a back rub. Like it
Yeah.
might not be what you originally wanted, but this is what I feel safe doing right now. And it feels authentically aligned in my body.
And
And we
also
should be,
important to say that the right partner will not be pissed at you. And if they're going to be pissed at you, it's the
yes,
wrong person. And that's the red flag.
yes. Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness. I'm so happy you said that. Yes.
Oh my God. Then that's like, they're not the right person, period. And I have
Hmm.
absolutely been in those relationships where it was just like, oh, fuck, really? And it's just like,
Yeah.
then there's an issue there. There's a disconnect there, and like communication to be had.
Hmm.
And it's like the right person will understand and honor your boundaries. And not everybody wants it all the time. And we go through
1000%.
different sex drives. And I think it's funny, not funny. And this is like conversation to be had early, I think, in conversation in a relationship of
Yeah.
how do you handle stress? Because there's some people
Oh,
who are like
yes.
risky, and then there's some people who shut down. And if you guys are not the same, that does not work well. I have not been
Correct.
in a
Yes.
good relationship because of that. I'm like, what do you mean it's a no? I've been the one getting the no.
Yeah, but I will say it is okay if you and your partner have mismatched
Yeah.
libidos, right? Like as they say. What it really comes down to is communicating.
Yeah.
Are you able to talk about it?
Yeah.
How can you handle things? So if you do find yourself in that situation, no, it's not necessarily a death threat or a death sentence. You just have to
Sometimes it
really
is
work on
though.
communicating. Um, but it's so funny, actually, kind of switching a little bit,
Okay.
but I wanted to discuss when was the last time that you really looked at your vulva?
Oh yeah. Well, I do regularly. Is
I
it the nurse
figured you
in
and I
me?
might.
I mean, I feel like I
But
don't count properly, but I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. I also just okay, now I'm going right in there. With waxing and stuff, you almost have to like really be careful with exfoliating. So I'm just like, we're
yes,
sussing
yes,
everything.
I love
So
that.
I suss, I look, I'm definitely one of those people, not shy. Again, my hand
It's
has
so
been in
good.
thousands of vaginas. So of course I'm gonna touch my own.
I love that. But this is like so often when I say this to clients, they're like, wait, you want me to do what? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would like for you to look in front of a mirror
Yes.
and touch her and look at her
Yes.
and become
Yes.
friends with her. She
Yes.
is your pleasure portal. She
Yes.
is the base of everything. You
Yeah.
need to be friends with her. If you are not, I hope you get off of this podcast and you're like, that's what I'm going to do today. I am going to learn how to make
Please.
friends with my
And then
vulva.
DM us, not pictures,
Yes.
but how it went.
How did it go for you?
Yeah.
And I'm sure the first time it's going to be super uncomfortable and super
Yeah.
weird. And you're going to be like, oh my goodness, wow. And those judgmental voices are going to come up. And I'm here to tell you that no one has a vulva that looks like yours.
Does
And that is
not.
what makes yours so fucking beautiful.
Yes, it's true. And
It's
also,
so normal, just how it is.
backtracking a tiny bit, do people know what their vulva is? Because that's not like, it's not your vagina hanging out. Oh
Yes,
my
please.
God.
Thank you.
Ooh. Ladies, you need to know what your parts are. You need to know where they're
Yes.
located. You need to know what they're called. You need to look at them. You need to touch them. Please pause and do it now. Thank you.
Yes. And it is a vulva, not a front bottom. That fucking kills me every
Front
time I
bottom?
hear that. Yes.
Okay, that is not a Canadian thing. I have never heard
Oh
front.
my goodness.
Front.
You will hear, oh,
I
it
cannot.
kills me. It kills me. You will hear so many women talking to their young children
Oh
and just being
God.
like, oh, wipe your front bottom. And it's like, oh, wow, look at
No.
that language. That is so
No.
shaming if you
Oh.
think about
Oh.
really, and
Mm-mm.
you wonder why women struggle with this connection, right?
Okay, that's a hard
And,
no. That will not be happening.
right. And on top of it, I'm here to reclaim the fucking word pussy. Can
Can
we
we? Oh,
please reclaim this
thank
word?
you.
I am so
Thank
tired of
you.
people thinking that being called a pussy means that you are weak and that you are like some kind of less than.
Yeah.
Oh, this person does not know the pussy.
Oh, the moment I hear that, like if someone makes that comment, I'm just like, who birthed you? A fucking pussy did. You know how hard that was? You probably had a big head.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
weak. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Like even just the fact like some women struggle with really bad menstrual pain, which side note is not normal and there's something there to be healed, just
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
But we handle that every single month. You're weak like a pussy. My pussy's fucking
Mhm.
magic. Like it literally
It's
does magic tricks. It has
all
like
the time.
all the things.
She
Mm-mm.
self-cleans. She does so many things that are incredible and
Yeah.
magical. And
Yeah.
I would love it if we all could just reclaim that word.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting listening to this going, oh, I'm cringing, my body is starting to shake, I hate that word so much,
Yeah.
I invite you to
Yeah.
lean into that with a little bit of curiosity.
Totally. Totally. Like, what else would you call it? Like, it needs a name, not a front bottom. Jesus Christ, that's
Oh
awful.
my goodness, no. No, no.
The book Pussy by Regina, what's
Yes,
her name?
Amish shower.
Something like
I
that.
love it.
Fantastic book. Ladies, please either listen or read it. Also,
Yes.
pause the podcast to say the word pussy 10 times and get over that cringe. Funny story, and I hope you enjoy this. I had to get over the word pussy really quick. And the reason, and this is so ridiculous, I feel like my mother will kill me for sharing this. So in Hungarian, pussy actually means kiss. So she literally will be like, okay, lots of pussy for you. And I was
I
like,
kind of
you
love
can't
this.
say, she will like literally just say it. And you'll be like, she'll speak English and then say pussy. And I was like,
Yeah.
you can't actually say that. And then like all of her text, all of her email, she's like, pussy, mom. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my
I love this. I love this. And just think about, I mean, kiss their lips. You should kiss your lips. Like, yes,
I
I think this is beautiful.
I mean, so it's just embarrassing when she's like out and like before I made peace with the word and I was like, oh my God, mother, you can't say that word. Oh my God, you're saying, oh my God. She's like, pussy, pussy. And I was like, thanks.
I love that. That's such
How
a
to get
great
over the word
story.
pussy. Have a Hungarian mother. Get over it real quick.
Well, yeah. So to be fair, I found that book, Pussy or Reclamation by Mama Gina, I want to say maybe 7 years ago.
Mhm.
And I was still like fairly new in my healing journey. And I felt really triggered by the book
Mhm.
because of how open she was with the word.
I had to put it
And
down a few times and I needed to do more healing before I could pick it up again.
yes,
And then I was like, okay. And
yes,
like I didn't feel good with the word pussy. And I felt like it was triggering.
Totally. And
Mhm.
I had to really sit with that for myself and really
Yeah.
figure out some things. So I want to honor that you should totally buy this book.
Mhm.
And also, it might be a little like, ooh, kind of push you out of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
And I
Perfect.
encourage you to sit with that.
Yeah.
The other side of that is Come As You Are by Emily
Mhm.
Nagoski. And
Yeah.
I think that Come As You Are is like the scientific book,
Yeah.
and Pussy is the exact same book, but comes from a more divine feminine lens,
Yeah.
and a little less scientific.
Yeah.
But
Everything you
it's
do,
the
you
same
need both.
information. You
Yeah.
need both. I
Yeah.
tell all of my clients, we start with Kaya and we move on to Pussy,
Beautiful. End with the pussy. Amen. Love,
right?
love that. Now, question. What do you tell your clients when you get the I can't orgasm?
Mm,
Because I hear this all the time. And I was like, you're not broken. We just need to heal some stuff. Let's dive
yes,
in. Like,
yes.
one's capable of orgasming and it's fantastic. Please do it.
Yes, 1,000%. First and foremost, exactly as you said, you are not broken. I want to really slow down and say that. You are not broken. Whatever you are experiencing, it may feel that way, but I promise you, you are not. Um, and so, oftentimes, with not able to achieve orgasm, more often than not, it's a mental block. It is literally a mental block where I hear a lot of times kind of two different stories. One is that it feels so good. And then everything kind of like goes. And then it's like painful. And I want to just stop everything. And it's like,
Mm,
oh, all right, well, that's your edge. And we got to lean into this because you're like stopping yourself. But remember, there's a really, really thin line between pain and pleasure.
uh-huh.
And oftentimes our brain gets confused,
Yeah.
right? And so we might be perceiving something as painful, but it's really not.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to sit with that and grow with that edge.
Yeah.
And the other thing I hear a lot with women who say that they struggle achieving orgasm is we have to do a lot of unlearning.
Mm, yeah.
Because again, it's not that there is something necessarily physically wrong with you.
Mm,
It's just that there is a mental break, right?
mhm,
Like
mhm.
you are not allowing yourself to get that place. You are blocked off
Absolutely.
from the access to that part of your body. You
Yeah.
have not done a lot of womb work. And womb work, I think, is such a weird statement because it's like, what the hell does that even mean?
But we all
Um,
need to do it. Like
yes, because
it's
we
like
all have wombs.
wow, yes. But like actually, and even if you've never had a child, you never wanted to have a child, you never had any sexual trauma, like we
Yeah.
all have things lingering in our womb and like energetically it's like a blockage and then it's like you're not
Mhm.
receiving the pleasure and the bliss, but also pleasure from your environment, not just sexual pleasure.
Absolutely. And to even bring that one step more, think about it. So, our grandmothers actually carried us.
Yeah.
So, when we talk about like generational trauma or family trauma that really does get
Oof.
passed down,
Yeah.
it makes sense because our grandmother carried us. And so her nervous system affected us as an egg, and
Yeah.
it affected the egg of our mother, right?
Yeah.
And so we got carried around by a lot of women. And if you think about it, that could easily be 100 years right there, right?
Yeah.
Of just
Yeah.
shit that
Yeah.
is in our system that isn't necessarily ours to carry,
Yeah.
but we do because it's in our body.
Also, just to give a visual for people, so imagine your grandmother is pregnant with your mother, and then your mother already has all of the eggs that she has available in her body,
Hmm.
and then you came from one of those eggs, hence you were in your grandmother just for the visual.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because also not a lot of people know all those things, but it's
Yes.
true. And it's like, if you're like, I'm fine, everything is fine. And then I was like,
Mhm.
what traumas did your mother have? Like, my mom was in an incredibly abusive relationship with my dad. Like, he was very
Yeah.
violent with her. And then it's like, my grandmother wasn't in a really good relationship either, slash,
Hmm.
she was like shamed for everything by her mother. So I'm just like, and trickle effect. That
Right.
lingers. And that's
It
in
absolutely
you.
does. Yeah. I did a really interesting shamanic womb meditation, and we were brought back into the womb of our mother.
Mhm.
And it was really, really curious because, as you said, I was seeing life through my mom's eyes while she was pregnant with me. My older brother was like in the kitchen, the phone, I mean, everything was right there as I remembered it.
Yeah.
But I could feel the stress and chaos of her system. She was super stressed. She was on the phone with someone. I mean, I could feel that. And I had this feeling like, I think maybe some of us have that wondering of like, oh, did my mom ever really want me? Was there like stress there or whatever? And all of a sudden, I had so much compassion for my mom and so much compassion for me and how I was feeling. Like, she did want me, but her nervous system was fucking stressed. And I was feeling that stress as a
Yeah,
little baby and as a newborn. And it's
absolutely.
okay. And it was like, I think many of us have a mother wound and a sister wound because we don't
Yes.
really know how to be with women. We're taught at a young age to be like really judgy and we're competitors, right? Like we shouldn't be sisters and hold each other up. We're in competition for the next thing.
Yeah.
And I just had so much compassion when I experienced that.
Can
Um,
you dive into those two things? I think it's not common sense for everybody. So what's the mother wound?
yeah. Um, so I think I would describe the mother wound as just,
Like your relationship with your mother.
yeah, your relationship with your mom. Maybe it's complicated.
Yeah.
Maybe you look at other relationships and you're like, wow, my mom is not my best friend. I don't feel that closeness. Maybe your mom is a primary abuser to you.
Yeah.
Maybe she wounded you emotionally or with her words.
Yeah.
Many of us carry that.
Yeah.
And we carry it not only towards our own mothers, but it shows up in how we relate to other women.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, our moms and our grandmothers and our early caretakers, those are the first impressions that we have of love, connection, relationships, attachment.
Yeah.
It's really setting us up as adults. And
Mhm.
so when we get wounded in our primary age with these attachment wounds, like, yeah, it affects how we show up in other people.
Absolutely.
And I had to do a lot of work in my 30s around this, where I
Yeah.
was like, you know, it's funny. I was talking about this with someone else. I always used to consider myself like a guy's girl, you
Yeah.
know, I just got along better with guys.
Hmm.
And I really started sitting with that. And it's like, oh, because I had all of these preconceived notions of what female friendships would be or should be.
Yeah.
And they were hurtful and I wasn't having good ones. And I had to sit with that wound and really
Absolutely.
open myself up to a new way of relating to women.
Yeah.
And it was powerful. It was so incredibly powerful. And now I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I felt so shut off from this. My
Yeah.
female friends are my fucking tribe. Like, I love having a girl gang. It's so powerful.
Oh my God, absolutely. And that's kind of where the sister wound comes from of like us having like
Hmm.
competition with each other. And this is so to do with like witch trials of
Yes.
like, you don't
Yeah.
want empowered women to group
Hmm.
together, forming a girl gang. Like they'll take over the world and men, you
Yes,
gotta
we
move
will.
over because men are useless. So yes, it's a threat. So yes, you should put us against each other.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And like that's something that's like completely off topic, but I always like to mention it when I can. There's so many women who are like, I'm in my 30s. You can't make new friends. I'm
Oh, fuck
sorry,
that.
up. Like, I just moved 3 hours away from the city I was living in. I have made like over a handful of new friends, and I've been here a week. And
Mhm.
literally, yo, people are sliding in my DMs being like, do you want to go for a hike and grab a coffee? I'm like, yes, random
Mm,
woman. I would love that. Is this
I
creepy that
love
I'm
that.
asking? I was like, no, let's go. Let's do
It's
this.
amazing. I love that. And it's so true. I have created some of the most powerful friendships in my life in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
I just turned 39 and
Yeah.
it was 35 plus. That was when I started purposefully cultivating strong female relationships.
Because you've
And
cultivated a relationship with yourself and you know who the
yes,
fuck you finally are. So you even know
yes.
who you want to hang out with.
And on top of it, I'm not fucking jealous of you. I think you are so beautiful and you are such a badass, and I am here to
Yes.
support you. I am
Yes.
not jealous because
Yes.
you are your own magic and I am my own magic,
Yeah.
right? And
Absolutely.
that is absolutely part of it. And I would argue that tapping into your sexuality and really learning who you are as a sexual person
Yeah.
is part of that transformation.
Absolutely. And it makes you magnetic. And it doesn't just make you
Mhm.
magnetic to like, I don't know, sexual partners, but it makes you magnetic to money. Hello, if you're
Yes.
able to receive sexual pleasure and that joy, you're also going to be
Hmm.
receiving the next client, receiving the
Yep.
next paycheck, the next promotion. And it's like,
Mhm.
let's just be real. You've had an amazing orgasm. You fucking feel fantastic. Like you feel good in your body.
Hell
Like,
yes.
like your skin is glowing. You're smiling bigger.
Your
Like,
endorphins are like,
yes.
your brain is
I wish you guys could have
flooded with
seen that.
oxytocin.
It's like just bubbling. Love it. But it's like we're
Yeah.
meant to feel pleasure. We're meant to enjoy all aspects. And it's like feeling safe to receive that. And that I think is hard. For some reason for us to be able to like, I don't know, acknowledge our worth of receiving, but then also asking for what we want. So like here's another question. How do you ask for what you want in the bedroom? Maybe if you're newer with somebody, how do you start the conversation? If you're
Oh, I
not me and
love
I'm like,
that.
yo, this is what I like, and this is what's gonna go down. Because
Well,
I
I
understand
also love
not
that.
everyone's a Leo.
I am a really big proponent of having sexual conversations outside of the bedroom.
Yeah.
And my number one reason for that is because it's easier to talk about. The bedroom is a really charged place for many
Yeah.
people. And
Mhm.
so, any conversation that you want to have around sex or what you liked or what you didn't like, I highly encourage you. It doesn't happen in the bedroom, it doesn't happen right afterwards.
Yeah.
It happens the next day over coffee or for a walk
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
not in the bedroom.
Yeah.
But just starting out, like, what do you want to experience?
Mm. Yeah.
That's the question I prefer is what do you want to experience?
Mhm.
And play with that space. And I know that's probably going to sound really fucking weird because you're like, I don't know what I want to experience. I want to feel good.
I will tell you what you want. These are the things that you want. You ask for this.
Right? But there are worksheets. So there's an incredible will, want, won't list that I have that is like every therapist or someone who works in sexual health has one. It's
Okay.
incredibly detailed. I'm happy to send it to you and we can
I was gonna
attach
say,
it to
can you
this.
share that? Because I'll add that. Also, I'm like, I'm gonna take a little peek.
Yeah. So it's called the WWW list.
Mhm.
And it's a really beautiful activity. It is very it's like 20 pages long. It's
Oh
incredibly
wow.
extensive.
Grab
So for
snacks.
people who are like, I don't know what I like, go through this
Yeah.
because you're gonna discover, do you wanna have your elbow kissed? Would you like to have your toe sucked? Would
Oh
you
my
like to
God. Do you know
have
what's really funny? Someone brought this list out once.
yes?
I think I've experienced part of the list. It wasn't 20
Oh.
pages, but just to like TMI overshare, and I don't think the person listens to my podcast, but he was like a really super type A, like nerdy guy with a really freaky side that I was not expecting. And literally we're having a date night, and all of a sudden it's like we're doing an activity. I was like, oh, what are we doing? And he literally gives me a highlighter and printed sheets. He's like,
Yes.
we're both doing this and we're exchanging and then we're talking. And I was like, never
I kind
had
of love this
someone
though.
I enjoyed that. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
I was
mean, it's just
concerned.
a
I'm like, you're giving me a highlighter. Why are you giving me a highlighter? What is happening here?
this dude was prepared, and I have mad props for that. I think that's incredible.
Yeah,
But yeah, there should be no shame in this.
yeah,
You can do this list alone.
yeah,
You can do it with your partner. You can create a sex recipe from your responses. If you're like,
yeah.
I don't know what I want to do, but I'll send all of this as a printout for you.
I cannot wait. Literally running to Staples immediately to print.
Yes, it's such a good activity.
Yeah,
And also one that you should revisit because I'm here to tell you that what you like, how you like touch, and what you like sexually as an adolescent is very different than in your 20s
yeah,
and your 30s and your 40s. What
yeah,
you like pre-kids will probably be very different
yeah,
than what you like post-kids.
yeah.
So I think this is a beautiful activity to consistently return to.
Absolutely.
Um, and just learn something about yourself. Lean into it with a
Yeah,
really curious mind. Trust your no. If it's a no, then no.
yeah,
But if it's
absolutely.
like a enthusiastic fuck yes, say it and explore and
Yeah,
have fun. It's
yeah.
supposed to be fun.
And I will also say explore different things after
Mm.
you've done healing.
Yes,
Because when you
it's
release
so
something
different.
out of your body, like somatic experiencing or like anything to do with your
Mhm.
nervous system, or just like it doesn't matter whether it's talk therapy or with a coach or whatever. But when you've done like a big, deep, like round of healing, you will change in terms of
Mhm.
what you like and you don't like. And I will also say you might not like something with one partner, but maybe it's because they did it a weird way. So
Yeah.
it's not a no. Like, be open in a safe space to explore. And I also
Hmm.
want to do say, like, I'm in the dating realm, and I will say, I don't know if I'm just manifesting really wonderful people, but men have stepped up their game. Like within
Hmm.
the first few dates, literally being like, what are your yeses and what are your nos? And not
I
in a
love that.
dirty sexual, like, what's your favorite position? Like, not like, ew, like, wow, thanks. That's great. Like, was that foreplay?
Yeah.
Please don't tell me that was your foreplay. But like actually having those conversations and just being like, I just want to be on the same page in terms of consent. And I was like, whoa,
I
men are
love that.
stepping
That's so
up.
hot. I mean, my
Yeah. And
panties are
I'm
wet
just
hearing
like,
that.
I'm
That's fucking
impressed.
hot.
This is great. Thank you for communicating. And it's just men have stepped it up. And in case, ladies, you're out there dating and you're like attracting crap men, one, come see one of us and we'll heal you. And two, there's fantastic men out there that are emotionally intelligent, are able to communicate, and are very eager to please. And they're not
Yes.
the bro crap. They're just like, what would you like? And I was like, well, please go
I
on.
love that. And I
Yeah.
think that working in sexual health, it can sometimes be easy for people to target and be like, oh, you're just a feminist. You hate the patriarchy and you like hate men. No, that is so not what I am saying. What I am saying is that there are some beautiful, conscious men out there
Uh-huh.
who know what's up.
Yeah.
And we may give some men some bad rap because of bro culture and
Mhm.
the Me Too movement and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But also trust that there are really good men out there too
Yeah.
who are listening, who are watching us, who
Yeah.
are being reflective of the experience of their
Yeah.
siblings, of their moms, of their aunts,
Yeah.
and doing the work. And I think that's really important and powerful to put voice to.
Yeah.
And men, we need you and we
Yes.
appreciate you. And thank you
Yes.
for doing the work and showing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. It absolutely exists. And it's like
Hmm.
you'd be surprised who's secretly doing the work. And you're like,
Yes.
oh, you were hot before I knew you were doing the work. Okay, I see you. Oh, okay, I
Oh,
see
yeah.
you. And it's like the moment you allow yourself to step into your feminine and like you're doing your work, you're going to vibrate at different frequency where you call in a partner who's also doing the work. And then you can
Yes.
continue doing the work together.
Together. And it's really beautiful because I would also say that what you're doing by doing this work and by learning your sexual self and learning about your feminine is you are learning how to become the perfect partner,
Mm,
right? You are
yeah.
becoming your own perfect partner,
Yeah.
which in by doing that, you're calling in your perfect partner because they see you and they will respond to you and you
Yeah.
are that magnetic energetic pull.
Oh my God, absolutely. And like ladies, this is where the inner work comes in.
Hmm.
You can't do the I'll be happy when I meet him. You need to
No.
be fucking fantastic by yourself, i.e., you need to know how to meet your own needs, all of
Yes.
them, whether it's the
Yes.
intimacy, the just touching yourself, hand on heart, hand on belly, hand on
Hmm.
pelvis, or how to give yourself an orgasm. Like so many
Yeah.
women don't know how to do that. And it's like you need to be completely self-sufficient in those things because then you're almost like it happens when it happens when you like release the like scarcity, the like thirst, the like oh my god it needs to happen, oh my god I'm in a rush energy,
Hmm.
which is not attractive even if you have like a great game face on.
Yeah.
People feel that, then you're going to attract a
Hmm.
partner who's not as stable because you're
Yeah.
feeling that like I gotta hurry up and
And
fast.
I think the other important piece of this is that we are not saying that you have to be healed before you can be in
God
partnership.
no.
That is
God no.
not what we are saying. But
God no.
you need to start the path,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And because that is what's going to align yourself with the most success.
Absolutely. But it's like I feel like there's just so many women who are like waiting to
Yes.
dive into the deeper part of their sexuality, waiting to
What are you waiting
into
for?
oh, absolutely. Why do you think I went to Italy? It was so fun. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Italy with my partner. We're gonna have this romantic trip. Fuck that. Went alone. Thanks so
Oh,
much. There is a backstory that I'll share later, but like, go on a trip alone.
hell yes, it's magical. And who knows who you'll meet along the way.
Well,
Just
it
saying.
was, it was fun. I
I love
promise
that.
I will share later. It's probably not
Beautiful.
what you guys are thinking, which makes it even juicier.
I love the suspense.
So good. So, do you think every couple should see a sex therapist? Like, early, later? Is it when you're having problems, or is it too late? Like, when do you know you should go see somebody?
First and foremost, I think everyone should see a therapist,
Yeah.
whether they're a sex therapist or not. Mental health is so vital. And it's really great to have a neutral third party safe space to process things.
Mhm.
So I think everyone should have a therapist or a coach or somebody in that space. And in terms of sex therapy, why not? Why not go and just talk? You
Mhm.
never know what kind of negative information you're going to get or how you're going to strengthen your relationship. I think a lot of people come to sex therapy when there are already so many issues.
Yes.
Um, and that's fine too, right? Like, do you? But if you're curious, then yeah, reach out. And I mean, that's all what I'm about. Stay curious and start exploring. And if you need help knowing what that means, then yes, you should be working with a sex therapist.
I love that. I think the word curiosity is just
Mm,
a beautiful way to do any part of life,
yes.
professional, personal, healing, whatever it is. It's just like not shaming any part of you or previous
Mhm.
decisions or like the wrong move, whatever. It's just like curious. Why did I do this? Curious. Why do I feel this way? Curious.
Yeah.
Why is this sensation coming up? You can't
Mhm.
bypass that. You need to lean into it. And I promise you, you won't shatter. It's fine. Might be a
Yeah.
little uncomfortable, but ignoring and avoiding it is more uncomfortable.
Way more. It just becomes louder. So,
Okay. Question about having sex sober. Why
yes.
do people struggle with that? It's like, do you recommend, don't start sober if you're really nervous, because then maybe you'll be less nervous, or it's like, no, you got to get over that. What are your thoughts?
Sacred self pleasure practice, sober,
Amen.
alone, and start that way, right?
Mhm.
It can be really hard. And many women are like, I just need it to feel more comfortable.
Mhm.
And all right, so maybe you need a couple glasses of wine or a glass of wine before partaking,
Yeah.
whatever. Start slow and start with yourself
Yeah.
and really get comfortable with that because it's not about it's about being comfortable in our own body.
Yeah.
And we don't gain that skill by being naked in front of everyone. We gain it by being naked in front of ourselves and learning how to sit with that.
Sleep naked more. Like you should sleep
Yes.
naked. So many health benefits. You should like
Yes.
walk around naked in your home.
It's
Like,
so good for you. It is so good.
I mean, my dog judges me, so it's like I have to lean into building the confidence because she's just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Yes, I know my bum got bigger, let me be. But
Yeah.
it builds
No, let it
confidence.
all hang out and it feels great. And when you see
Yeah.
yourself in the mirror, you're like, I see you, girl. You look fucking hot.
Yeah.
What's
Get it.
up?
Get it. Get it. Get it.
It's so
Love it.
good.
There we go. Tell me your thoughts on toys, especially with
Mm.
partners.
Oh, toys are fantastic. Don't shy away from them.
Okay.
And also, let's be real. Oh my gosh, I might totally fumble on this statistic, but it's something like 80% of women cannot orgasm through vaginal penetration alone.
Mhm.
And so that means we need extra help. And so whether that's your
That
hand on
is
your
the fact
clitoris,
because I read this not too long ago, and that's true. Yeah.
yeah. So whether it's your hands and manipulation as well, or if you're going to bring in a toy, do it. There is no shame in that game. Toys are literally just an enhancement. It is
Yeah.
not saying anything about your partner. It is just added pleasure.
Yeah. I
Pro
will say that
toys.
I've had some funny experiences with this. Like I've gone both directions where I've had literal like ex-boyfriends being like, you're not allowed to use a toy. And I was like, excuse you. I will absolutely be using a toy at some point. But then I've
Yes.
also had other people who are like, let's get the toy. I'm like, buddy, you need to do some work here. So
Yeah.
within reason.
But it's about that communication and knowing
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
and yeah, talking about it beforehand.
Yeah. Now, what about yoni eggs? I am a little
Ah,
opinionated on this, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And then I'll
sure.
share something that like has been brought to my attention and like I'm happy to discuss.
Oh, I love this. Okay, so the first time I learned about yoni eggs, probably from Gwyneth Paltrow, I was like, WTF? I don't understand. I think this is weird. And
Yeah.
then read all the things about why you shouldn't do it. Um, then I was working with a coach. And as I said, I have lived most of my life very disconnected from my body. And I was really trying to land back in and to find safety in my body again. And she suggested I start with a yoni egg. And my yoni egg practice and what I teach my clients is probably really different than what you're going to hear from other people.
Yeah.
And for me, because this was my lived experience and my healing, was I started using a yoni egg to start feeling inside of me again because
Yeah.
I was totally cut off and I
Mhm.
couldn't feel anything. And so it was really scary and weird, but it started in as just being like, can I acknowledge and feel the weight? Can
Mhm.
I feel it in my womb space?
Yeah.
Right. And to be honest, it was like I stuck it in and then I don't like this. And then I looked at it for maybe 6 months. And then I was like, nope, I got to do this. And I made a regular practice of it. And I started feeling again with the use. And so through that feeling, I then started varying how I was using it.
Mhm.
So maybe I would insert it and go into meditation and really try to connect to that part.
Ooh, I love
Maybe
that.
I would put it in and start doing Kegel exercises.
Mhm.
And to, again, for me, the purpose is to connect to the inside of your womb space and to really focus on those muscles and
Yeah.
to feel like really focusing on feeling.
Yeah.
And then it translated into maybe I'm going to do a little bit of breath work with it and see what happens and be really curious.
Yeah.
And then it was, well, maybe I'm going to have it in and I'm going to do a little bit of genital exploration and see what it's like to be sexually charged with a yoni egg.
Ah,
And that is my experience with it. And that is how I have used it and what I teach my clients. It's
that's
not for
beautiful.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, and that's okay.
Mhm.
As I said, I literally sat and looked at this little thing for 6 months before
Like
I
collected
thought,
dust. You have to like clean it off.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I was fucking terrified of it,
Yeah.
like this tiny little inch thing.
Yeah.
Um, so I understand why some women don't like it, but I have really tried to utilize it, maybe less for woo things and really more about it gives you something to focus on when you're trying to reconnect with safety in your body. You know exactly what it is. You're the one who put it there.
Yeah.
And it was very liberating.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really new perspective, and I absolutely love that because, like, I do think that sometimes people are like, well, Goop does it, so I have to do it. And then they don't
Right.
really do some research on it. And I mean, I would say every woman should also see pelvic
Pelvic
physiotherapy.
floor.
You have to. And please do it before you're pregnant.
Oh
And
my
obviously
God,
if
yes.
you're already pregnant, then go see one ASAP. But it's like
Mhm.
you need to understand the structure of your body. Also, super uncomfortable exam. I've done it a few times and it's like, oh yeah, you are okay. It's more than a pelvic exam, let me tell you.
Mhm.
Doing like
Mhm.
weird positions and everything, and you're getting comfy. So
Yep.
get ready for it. But it's like you might not know that your pelvis is a little bit out of alignment, or you might be tighter
Mhm.
somewhere, and it can actually throw off your like ability to have a bowel movement. So it's like
Yeah.
this is something you need to know. But what I've been told by some pelvic floor physiotherapists is some people, if they haven't done a lot of inner work in terms of womb healing and like sexual
Mhm.
trauma, like release, they're actually too tight and they're already clenching. So for
Yeah.
you to strengthen your pelvic floor, and even with Kegels, it can actually be detrimental and make
Mhm.
sex harder because you're literally like so clenched and stressed from something you haven't healed.
Yeah,
It's
and so
harder
many
and then it's
women
gonna
are
hurt.
like, yeah, they're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I wore it for 10 hours." I'm like, "What? You wore it for 10 hours? You slept in it?" No, no, no.
Oh yeah.
No, no. Like
Went to
usually,
Costco, ran my errands. Like,
yeah, and I'm like freaking out about this.
yeah,
It is a muscle like anything else,
yeah,
and it cramps, and it
yeah,
is you're working it when you're putting a weighted egg in in there.
yeah,
So it is a practice that you start off slow
yes,
for maybe a couple minutes at a
yeah,
time, right? And then build up to maybe a 20 or 30-minute session.
yeah.
But anything longer than that, I just think that it's going into a different direction and we've lost sight of what we're really utilizing the tool for.
Absolutely. And I would say like do it with a professional, like someone who's
Yeah.
actually trained, maybe
And
not
with
necessarily.
intention.
Yes, yes. And it's like someone who has like a science background, maybe. This is where I get a little bit like, you don't want to go too woo here. Like, uh,
Yes.
not every
Yes.
woman is the same. Not everyone has had the same history. Not everyone needs the same healing path. And even though it worked for some people, it might not work for you. So just
Yes.
consult a trained professional, I would say.
Absolutely. I
Um,
agree.
okay. I have one more question for you. What brings you joy? It is the question I ask everyone.
Ah, oh my goodness. I love this question so much. Wow. Okay. I just had a couple responses cross my heart space. The first one is my soul dog, Walter, who unfortunately passed a few months ago. But he brings me so much joy, even now, like just filled with love for him.
Yeah.
Other things that bring me joy, the ocean and just nature. I
Mhm.
think the world we live in is so beautiful.
Mhm.
And I feel so lucky and blessed to be in her creations every day. It just blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And the other joy is just, I love doing this. I
Yeah.
really love sharing this skill set and this knowledge with women. It
Yeah.
has transformed my life. It has saved me. It has saved my life.
Yeah.
Um, and this is information, like, as I said earlier, I'm always trying to be the woman that I needed when I was younger.
Yeah.
And that process brings me a lot of fucking joy.
Yeah. I love that. Perfect ending to how can people find you? How can people connect to you? Do you take international clients? Because I have clients kind of all
I
over.
do. I do take international clients. And
Perfect.
yeah, come connect with me on Instagram, join my email list. Yeah, let's start a conversation. I would love to connect.
All of the links will be in the show notes, so check it out. Please make sure you follow her on Instagram, and I'm on her newsletter, and it's fantastic. So please sign up for that as well. And also a little bit of a brag. I love how Molly is one of my Reiki grads. So know that you can incorporate Reiki in any of your businesses and adventures.
Yes.
It's just another way to connect to source and the divine and you and your
Mm,
innate wisdom and to like deepen your own healing journey, but then also help others. So
mm.
there you go.
It's
Love the
beautiful.
internet, how it randomly connected us. Love it,
I
love
am
it, love it.
so excited about that. I'm so grateful for you. And thank you so much for having me. This was so beautiful.
All the pleasure. All the pleasure, all the pussy. Say the word 10 times. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And everyone, go look at your vulva and give it some love.
Yes. I love that.
Adore you. It was a pleasure to have you. I feel like I'm gonna have to have you on here again because I'm sure this is gonna like turn into more questions, which
I
must
love
be
it.
answered. And there you go. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, my love. Thank you.
For ways to work with me, visit theurbanhealer.ca.